Good morning. We are on Matthew 14. At that time, Herodes, the district ruler, heard the report about Yeshua and said to his servants, "This is Yohanan the Immerser. He has risen from the dead, and that is why these mighty powers are at work in him." For Herodes had arrested Yohanan, bound him, and put him in prison because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For Yohanan had said to him, "It is not right for you to have her." And wishing to kill him, he feared the crowd because they held him as prophet. But as Herodias' birthday was being held, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herodes. So he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked. And she, being urged on by her mother, said, "Give me here the head of Yohanan the Immerser on a dish." And the sovereign was sad, but because of the oaths and the guests, he commanded it to be given, and sent and beheaded Yohanan in prison. And his head was brought on a dish and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. And his taught ones came and took away the body and buried it, and went and reported to Yeshua. And when Yeshua heard it, he withdrew from there by boat to a deserted place by himself. And when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. And when Yeshua came out, he saw a large crowd and was moved with compassion for them and healed their sick. And when evening came, his taught ones came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Dismiss the crowds so that they might go into the villages and buy food for themselves." But Yeshua said to them, "They do not need to go away. Give them to eat yourselves." And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish." And he said, Bring them here to me." And commanding the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to the taught ones, and the taught ones gave to the crowds. And all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up the pieces left over, 12 baskets filled. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. And immediately Yeshua made his taught ones enter into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And having dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. And when evening had come, he was alone there, but the boat was now in the middle of the sea, agitated by the waves, for the wind was against it. And in the 4th watch of the night, Yeshua went to them, walking on the sea. And when the taught ones saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a phantom." And from fear they cried. And immediately Yeshua spoke to them, saying, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid." And Kepha answered him and said, "Master, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." And when Kepha had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to Yeshua. And when he saw that the wind was strong, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Master, save me." And immediately Yeshua stretched out his hand and took hold of him, and said to him, O you of little belief, why do you doubt? And when they came into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat came and did bow to him, saying, Truly, you are the Son of Elohim. And having passed over, they came to the land of Gennesar. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent out into all the surrounding country and brought to him all who were sick, and begged him to let them only touch the zitzit of his garment, and as many as touched it were completely healed. Then there came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees from Jerusalem, saying, Why do your taught ones transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. But he answering said to them, Why do you also transgress the command of Elohim because of your tradition? Oh, today we'd call that a burn. For Elohim has commanded, saying, Respect your father and your mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, Whoever says to his father or mother, Whatever profit you might have received from me has been dedicated, is certainly released from respecting his father or mother. So you have nullified the command of Elohim by your tradition. Hypocrites! Yeshayahu rightly prophesied about you, saying, This people draw near to me with their mouth and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. And calling the crowd near, he said to them, Hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth defiles the man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles the man. Then his taught ones came and said to him, Do you know that the Pharisees stumbled when they heard this word? But he answering said, Every plant which my heavenly Father has planted shall be uprooted. Leave them alone. They are blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind leads the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. And Kepha answering said to him, Explain this parable to us. And Yeshua said, Are you still also without understanding? Do you not understand that whatever enters into the mouth goes into the stomach, and it casts out into the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart, and these defile the man. For out of the heart comes forth wicked reasonings, murders, adulteries, whorings, theft, false witnessing, slanders. These defile the man, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile the man. And Yeshua went out from there and withdrew to the parts of Sor and Sidon. And see, a woman of Canaan came from those borders and cried out to him, saying, Have compassion on me, O Master, son of David. My daughter is badly demon-possessed. And he did not answer her a word. And his taught ones came and asked him, saying, Send her away, because she cries after us. And he answering said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and was bowing to him, saying, Master, help me. And he answering said, It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. And she said, Yes, Master, for even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from the master's table. And Yeshua answering said to her, O woman, your belief is great. Let it be done to you as you desire. And her daughter was healed from that hour. I wonder if she turned from her witchcraft that she was involved in and became an adamant follower of Yeshua after that day. And moving from there, Yeshua came toward the Sea of Galilee. And going up on the mountain, he was sitting there. And large crowds came to him, having with them those who were lame, blind, dumb, crippled, and many others. And they laid them down at the feet of Yeshua, and he healed them. So that the crowd marveled when they saw the dumb speaking, the crippled well, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the Elohim of Israel. And Yeshua, having called his taught ones near, said, I have compassion on the crowd, because they have now continued with me 3 days, and do not have whatever to eat. And I do not wish to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way. And his taught ones said to him, Where are we to get enough bread in the desert to satisfy such a large crowd? And Yeshua said to them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7, and a few little fish. And he commanded the crowd to sit down on the ground. And taking the 7 loaves and the fish, giving thanks, he broke them and gave to his taught ones, and the taught ones to the crowd. And all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up what was left over of the broken pieces, 7 large baskets filled. And those who ate were 4,000 men, besides women and children. And dismissing the crowd, he went into the boat and came to the borders of Magdala.